Welcome to the Tech Blog Writer Podcast, your guide to future tech trends and innovation in a language you understand. Now, over to your host, Neil Hughes.
Welcome back to the Tech Blog Writer Podcast. Now, there are so many reasons that I love recording this show, but highlighting how technology works best when it actually brings people together is probably the most important, and why it's even mentioned in the outro to every episode. And whenever we switch on the news recently, it always seems to be about how different we all are and how each country is almost going inwardly now and isolating themselves. But the reality is that we're all in one world and we all have the same hopes, dreams and fears. And I can't help but thinking how valuable it would be if we all put the flags down, tear down those geographical barriers and just work together. Essentially, the fact that we're all sharing stories on this show in 165 different countries kind of highlights, to me at least, that we should be celebrating each other's differences rather than fear them. But hey, this is a tech show. Don't worry, I'm not going to start singing We Are the World, although I do like the bit where Bruce Springsteen comes in and sings that bit. But today, I want to talk to a London-based technology company that gets local businesses online. And so far, they have built more than 2 million websites for businesses across Europe. So I want to find out more about how they're cultivating a digital destination and dedicated a ton of resources for it in the last year. So buckle up and hold on tight so I can beam your ears all the way to London here in the UK so we can speak with Christine Telyan from UENI. So a massive warm welcome to the show, Christine. Can you tell the listeners a little about who you are and what you do?
Hi, yes. My name is Christine Telyan, and I'm one of the founders of UENI. That's spelled UENI. We're a West London-based company, but we're really international. And we use technology to help small businesses grow. Our mission is very simple. We want to help millions of independent businesses get online. More than 80% of customers go online today to find local businesses, but only 20% of small businesses in Europe have a proper online presence. Just think about the mismatch.
Yeah.
As a result, such small businesses cannot compete as well with larger businesses, with chains or franchises who have a professional online presence and are capturing those customer eyeballs. Now, the vast majority of these business owners do know that they need an online storefront, but they don't know how to get started. They're not sure what elements are important when building an online presence, and they surely don't want to spend a lot of time and money on this project. I think there are two other important points, if I can mention here by way of context. I'm sure you know, and the listeners know, that there are a number of do-it-yourself website builders out there, and they are great. But did you know that most of the users that register for such sites don't become paying clients because they don't complete the journey? They don't finish building the website, and they don't ultimately launch. Why? Because it's complicated. The user will ask themselves, what information do I put on the site? What layout makes sense for me? If you try to do it yourself, you'll see what I mean. The choice can be overwhelming. The second point is that being online today is really much more than having a website. 20 years ago, a website would have been enough, even advanced. But today, you need to have your business as a red pin on Google Maps. You need a Google My Business profile with ample customer reviews. You need to be listed on high domain authority sites where customers are looking for businesses, such as Yelp. You need a business profile on category-specific sites, to say nothing of having strong social media profiles. And of course, for your own storefront, you need your own domain name and a corresponding email address. These are some of the basics as to what a small business needs to be credible and to be found today. You know, it's kind of like advertising on TV. Initially, there were only 3 channels, but now there are hundreds. And so we all have to keep up with the times.
And that's just going to continue to grow and grow, isn't it? I mean, voice search optimization is something else that's going to creep in over the next few years, I would imagine.
Well, it does. And, you know, there are a number of plugins that will allow you to optimize voice. But, you know, my view is that this is really for the sophisticated consumer, for the top, let's say, 0.1% of websites. In our experience, the vast majority of businesses today are still struggling with basic things, such as the structure of their website, so it's optimized for search, for providing good and relevant content that engages with customers and gives the information they need. And so that's what we focus on.
Now, you have mentioned so many problems that a lot of people listening are going to be able to relate to firsthand. So I've got to ask, just to set the scene, I mean, what is UNI? And also, what services do you provide that will make many of those problems go away and also make you guys stand out in that digital landscape?
Well, we are a value for money, do-it-for-me solution that helps businesses who do not have time for a perfect solution, cannot afford an expensive agency, and are not sure where to start. We build the online presence for our clients from top to bottom, present it to them in simple, plain language, no jargon, and we make it affordable and transparent. What does this mean? No upfront costs and a basic subscription that costs them less than £1 a day. Our product is really a service where we set up everything online for the business. We collect data about the business, we digitize that data, and we create a website that is built to rank high in search engines. We then get the business verified on Google, Google Maps, Google My Business, and we list their business on the platforms that matter for search, that matter for customers finding them. In the first 30 days, we focus on getting the business online. We set up the infrastructure, if you will. In the next 90 days, our mission is to increase the visibility and traffic to the business. Now, we focus on businesses in the services sector today. This is anything here from hairdressers to dentists to plumbers, everything in between, mostly because we found that these businesses are the most reliant on local custom and are least well served by technology today. Now, you ask kind of how do we stand out from the crowd in this digital landscape? Well, I'd say that we stand out in two ways. The first is, as I've mentioned, we do it all for the business. Now, we really take this to the extreme because it begins with collecting the business's data. You can imagine for businesses that don't have much or maybe any information available online, this actually requires physically visiting the business to gather the data. And that's what we do. We send data collectors, we call them UENI walkers, out on foot across Europe to take a photograph of the exterior of the shop, photo of the interior, a photo of the business contact information, and services menu. Of course, the walkers announce themselves and let the business know that we help small businesses get online. But the point here is that we go quite deep in getting the information that is the first step to building a business's online presence, because what we found is businesses often struggle just with getting started, so we help them do so. The other standout for UENI is that we're much more than a website. We're actually the one-stop shop for getting yourself professionally set up online, listed in all of the places that matter. So once we've set up their online presence, we've built them their website, they're listed on the various business directories and platforms. Anytime there's a change in their information on their UENI site, that remains the point of truth. So if there is a change, then those changes are carried out onto the other platforms.
I love what you're doing here because I think it's so important for local businesses. Like you said, you mentioned hairdressers there, for example. Now, they're not going to be necessarily tech savvy enough to create their own website and get it SEO ready. And there's so many different things. And that is not their area of expertise. So why not give it to somebody else that can do that? And I think that's fantastic on its own. But I recently read how you'd launched the UENI Blog as well, which aims to be an informative and yet entertaining content hub for business owners like we've just mentioned. But I love the line where you said, we're cultivating this digital destination. Can you tell me more about that and what you're trying to achieve?
Well, sure. Our blog, blog.ueni.com, is growing. The subtitle for our blog is We Untangle the Web. And the mission here is really to address those issues that are important for small business owners to read about in clear, plain language backed up by facts. We have a network of writers that specialize in a variety of subjects, some more digitally oriented and some more operational, but always with the small business owner in mind. And indeed, sometimes the intention is to entertain. But our objective really is that in 3 minutes, a business owner can understand the essence of subjects like why is it important to set up as a limited company? What is the top bookkeeping software? Or how to respond to negative reviews?
So can I also take you back in time to where all this began? I mean, can you tell me more about the story behind your startup and how you got where you are today? I'm curious what put you on this path.
Yeah, sure. Well, it was about 3.5 years ago, and my co-founder, Ein, had an abysmal toothache one night, and he called me as he was struggling to find a dentist. A few weeks later, I had a similar issue finding a physio. Now, the two of us were always interested in the development of search engines, how things were tagged, how they were structured, and how they were found by customers online. But it was really these personal moments that made us realize that while there were advanced ways of finding products online, here was a big gap in the services sector. There are, of course, some existing platforms, but these tend to focus on individual sectors, such as tradesmen or beauticians. There was no place to search for the cheapest, nearest, or best-rated service provider. And when we looked into it further, we realized this was because, indeed, most small businesses weren't online in a meaningful way. And so using a search engine to find a service provider was going to result in an inadequate list. So we stumbled into this, really, and we realized that the only way to make this information searchable was by getting these businesses online in the first place. So you can probably tell from this that our long-term vision is to help customers, that is to say the end users, more easily search and find the services they're looking for. But we can only do this by helping to get the businesses themselves online and make them discoverable.
And since coming across that pain point, I think it's worth highlighting that you've built more than 2 million websites for businesses all throughout Europe. I mean, can you share some of those success stories, just so listeners can visualise just what you do and how much you're achieving over there?
Well, I guess a few customers come to mind. Recently, we had a saxophone teacher come in who told us about how a few weeks after launch, he started getting calls through his website and his Google My Business page. Other customers, such as tradesmen, report that they feel more confident when they receive referrals now, because when somebody Googles them, they find the website, they find the customer reviews, and the information about their business. Still others, I recall one manager of a hair salon, expressed that they're happy that we could set everything up for them and that they could get launched very quickly. So it's really about making it easy and helping these businesses to appear more credible and visible online.
So what are the big tech trends or web trends that you're noticing online for business websites? And are you also finding that younger startups have more advanced or eye-catching requirements than some of the more traditional businesses?
Well, I think that the biggest trend that we find is that with the advancement of tech, you clearly see that there's an advantage gap widening between the technologically savvy and the lesser savvy businesses. Today, it's so much more complex to be ahead of the curve, even if you're a digitally savvy business. So there's a big opportunity, I think, for those who want to make technology accessible to the businesses that are being left behind. I think also you can observe the massive influence and consolidation of power by the big five tech companies. I mean, $3 trillion spread among Microsoft, Google, Facebook, Amazon, and Apple. So, we feel that one needs to follow what these companies are doing because indeed they're defining what the web is all about and what it means to be relevant on the internet.
So do you think that there are more and more startups need to take voice optimization seriously on their website? Because we mentioned it right at the beginning of the episode, and you mentioned that you don't think it is really. But do you think over the next, let's say, 3, 4, 5 years, do you think that's something that's going to become more and more commonplace as everyone gets Google Home and Siri and Amazon Alexa in their living rooms?
It's no doubt a major trend in how customer behavior evolves. However, if you think about today, our clients, a lot of the small businesses, as consumers, they themselves are using technology in all aspects of their lives. They're very sophisticated in using messaging apps and what have you, buying things on their smartphones. But that yet has not translated into many of their business operations. And so we still think that a lot of these advanced trends will be more on the B2C side, and B to small b still has a ways to come. And I think that's where we come in.
Now, I hate to mention the B word, but like me, you serve the international community and countries across the world here in the UK, and you're based here in the UK. But what will Brexit mean to you as a UK tech startup with international clients, do you think?
For our clients, I don't feel that this will mean much of a difference.
Yeah.
But certainly for our internal growth as a company, there will be some big changes, and we are indeed already feeling this. I mean, quite honestly, we have had difficulty attracting great tech talent over the last year post-Brexit. I mean, after several months of attempted tech recruiting in London, we almost gave up. But we decided that indeed we are an international company with clients across Europe. And so we need to be comfortable with managing talent outside the UK as well. So we've just opened an office in Prague where we're growing our developer team. And they work hand in glove with our UK team. And the early signs are good. So this is a big effort for us, I say, now.
Fantastic. Now, some of the biggest names in business, VC funding and tech listen right into this show. So let's put a bit of positivity out there in the universe. So if there was a person in the world that you would love to have a private breakfast or lunch with, could you just let me know who that is and why? Let's see if we can make that happen.
Well, it would be Jeff Bezos. We've made a big investment in getting businesses online by building their online presence even before they sign up for our service. We feel that it's that kind of a radical step that it takes to break through and to actually make a difference in this very difficult and highly fragmented market. Now, I think that Mr. Bezos knows the investment and work required to get fragmented merchants mobilized for the first time. I also think that Amazon's strength in distribution will mean that they will become a major player in the services sector. They have already begun there in some markets. And it would be fascinating to get his view on our do-it-for-me model.
Go big or go home, I say.
That is absolutely our motto. Absolutely.
So what's next for UNI? Is there anything else that you can share with us today?
Of course. Well, look, we have a big journey ahead of us because the target is to get every independent business out there online. And so for UNI now, we're really focused on giving as many businesses access as possible. We've actually just opened a free trial program. So if anyone out there wants to get started with their 360 online presence, I would say just send us 4 photos. We would need a photo of the exterior of your business, photo of the interior of your business, your business contact details, which of course you could take a photo or send us text, the business name, address, phone number, opening hours, and a photo of your services menu, your price list. If you send these to business@ueni.com, making sure to identify your business name, we will have your website built in a day. Wow. So we will then call you to confirm everything, and we'll launch you on the other platforms as well. And it is what it says on the tin, try it free for 30 days, and we don't think you'll be disappointed. As I say, right now, we focus on service sector businesses, not retail shops, though we hope to expand our offering in the future.
Excellent. And for anyone else that just wants to find out more about you guys or check out your website or your social channels, can you just remind them of where they can find you online? And also just give me that contact email address one more time as well.
Sure. Our email, business@ueni.com. Our website, of course, www.ueni.com. You can reach someone in our office here at 0208-068-8975, and we're at UENI Ltd on Facebook and Twitter.
Excellent. Well, I love what you're doing there. You really are making a difference across that fragmented merchant space. But also, most important of all, you're making sure local businesses don't get left behind in this new digital era. And I think it's just fantastic what you're doing. And 2 million websites across Europe is a phenomenal achievement. So a big thank you for coming on and sharing your story today.
No, it's a pleasure.
I think launching the UENI blog that aims to be an informative and entertaining content hub for business owners is a really smart move. And I love the diversity of the team and how their in-house content team of only 10 people will be rolling out original high-quality content in 4 different languages, being English, Spanish, German and French. I think it's incredibly refreshing to see this approach in content creation for European countries. Like I said at the beginning of today's show and in many episodes recently, ensuring that the diversity of your team aligns with the diversity of your clients is becoming increasingly important. But hey, let me know your thoughts, and also remember gang, I still want you to record me a few seconds of you wishing the show a happy birthday for our 500th episode, so keep them coming in by going to techblogwriter.co.uk/podcast and hitting the record button there. Or equally, you can email me, techblogwriter@outlook.com, or tweet me at Neil C. Hughes. Now, for some reason, me mentioning We Are the World at the beginning of the show has left me stuck with We Are the World, stuck in my head playing on repeat. And the bit where the boss goes, "We are the world, we are the children." So please, I need your help to get that out of my head. And also, tell me, what is your earworm? And do you have a cure for earworm? Keep those messages coming in, and I will be back tomorrow with another great guest. But as always, a big thank you for listening, and until next time, don't be a stranger.
Thanks for listening to the Tech Blog Writer Podcast. Until next time, remember, technology is best when it brings people together.